Thoughts on Steve Sarkisian as a whole, Caleb?
Knows offense, but isn't anything spectacular or special.
Comp. I know that athletes and coaches hate a comp. He's not, in my opinion, tell me if you're wrong, he's not better than David Cutcliffe.
No, I don't think he's better than David Cutcliffe.
Okay. So what about a Chip Kelly, who had a little run there where it looked like he could win a championship?
I wouldn't have said he's better than Chip Kelly, but I would say he's better than Chip Kelly now because I think Chip Kelly's stubbornness has cost him. And so I would say Chip Kelly. Steve Sarkisian, I might go Norm Chow.
Ooh. I don't hate that. Give me another one. Norm Chow. But
Norm Chow.
Oh, now wait a second. You can't go Norm Chow because Steve Sarkisian has essentially played for a college football championship as a head coach. So he's better than Norm Chow.
Wait a minute. He got to a playoff game.
Right, but that means Norm Chow never took anybody to anything close.
Norm Chow
that.
never coached a program good enough for that. Norm Chow was the brains behind USC's dominance in the 2000s.
I agree, but you would say the same thing about John Chavis. The simple fact is he didn't have the skills to be a head coach. I think you.
I got a Sark comparison.
And that's a really bad Chavis comparison. I just want to say real quick, I don't think Chow wanted to be a head coach. That's different. Chavis wanted to. I just want to clear that up. Go ahead.
I remember when Norm Chow threw some shots at Lane Kiffin when Lane was still offensive coordinator at USC. Funny enough, I don't know if you remember that. I bet Lane hates Norm Chow. But I would give.
I think that list is pretty long. People that Lane doesn't like.
People that Lane Kiffin hates. I thought the list that's longer is people that hate Lane Kiffin. But
I would agree with that.
I'm going to say another one that's similar. See, Steve Sarkisian strikes me as it's kind of a bland offensive coordinator. So Jim Chaney.
He just showed up to the special teams meetings drunk. That's not bland.
Coaching. His X's and O's is bland.
I mean, what do you want, Uncle Jesse? Or do you? I mean, are we like? Are you shooting for Richard Pryor in his prime? I mean, what more do you need to not be bland as a college football coach than to show up to the special team meetings at 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning hammered?
I'm going to say he's a Jim Chaney who likes to recruit.
10 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
Okay, he's still I nailed it. Jim Chaney who can recruit.
All right, let's get to 4 downs. It's brought to you by our friends at Dynasty Pools and Spas because Steve Sarkisian just got paid and it's crazy.
4 Downs brought to you by Dynasty Spas, the most comfortable spas made in the United States of America, right here in East Tennessee. Drop in for the all-new showroom in Athens. Dynasty Spas, perfect for all 4 seasons. 4 Downs, presented by Off the Hook Sports.
That's all right, and we get into it right now with some payments that are going to be made by some schools to college football coaches. Let's start with Coop. First of all, people need to do what?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
Thank you very much. And what down is this, Coop?
Coop here. First down.
First down. What is Sark making? Is he overpaid by standards of which we judge such coaches, which would be basically comparing them to themselves?
Steve Sarkisian's salary is up to $10.3 million.
Seems high to me. Initial response seems a little high.
Do you want me to save where he's ranked, or do you want me to just go ahead and jump in?
I don't know. I'm really scared now because 10.3 for Steve Sarkisian, special teams coach extraordinaire, seems a little bit high for me. Seems a little bit high.
Third behind.
High. What down is it, Coop?
Wait, you didn't let me answer if he's overpaid or not.
Oh, well, I thought that was next. I thought that's what we just talked about. So we said,
okay.
Is he overpaid? So that was second down. So what's he make? He's making 10.3 now.
What was the first down question? Just the pay. Okay, 10.3 million. Okay, 10.3 million. And it is third now behind Dabo Swinney and Kirby Smart. That's it. Those are the only two people ahead of him.
Okay. Who's closely behind?
Ryan Day is closely behind.
Okay. Who's next?
Mel Tucker. Oh, wait, that was last year. He's gone. Brian Kelly.
Okay. I think that Sark is slightly overpaid. He hasn't done as much as Brian Kelly.
Is this second down that we're doing that he's overpaid? Sorry.
Yes. Is he overpaid?
All right. Give me Coop. Give me Coop. Set me up with Coop.
All right. Sorry.
Cooper
This
Mays.
isn't a no huddle offense, Dave.
That's right. This is a slow huddle. All right. Sack overpaid. Yay or nay?
Hell yes. Yes. Absolutely yes. This is so ridiculously overpaid. Steve Sarkisian has joined Rick Barnes as the two most overpaid coaches in their respective sports.
Man, you had to go there. All right.
I'm right.
What down is it, Coop?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
Okay. So who is the most overpaid out of that top 5 to 10 group? How many do you have? Do you have a top 10?
Oh, yeah, I got a top 10. This is based on last year, but there's coaches retired now and fired and things like that. So based on those and the contracts extensions to where they are now, you go Dabo Swinney, Kirby Smart, Steve Sarkisian, Ryan Day, Brian Kelly, Mark Stoops, Josh Heupel, Lane Kiffin, James Franklin, Luke Fickell.
So who's the most? I think Sark's the most overpaid guy on that list, honestly. I know I'm probably supposed to say that for good content, but I really believe that. He's the most overpaid on that list.
I think it's a split between Sark and Ryan Day, largely because they're not even letting Ryan Day call the offense anymore.
Well, no, I agree, but you do have to give him he's played for an awful lot of championships, right? So you have to give him some of that credit.
I mean, he's lost to Michigan 3 years in a row when he's had better talent than Michigan all 3 years.
Where was Kirk Ferentz on this list, by the way? Did you not see he was on the list?
Let's see. Maybe they pay him per yard his offense game.
You remember when David Shaw was on that list and he was making $10.3 million a year? And
he was. I did not know that.
Yeah, Stanford won 3 games the year before, so that's like
Kirk Ferentz is like $1 million. Kirk Ferentz is in the top 20. To be fair. Now, again, this doesn't include, I don't know where Kalen DeBoer is now because I don't know Kalen DeBoer's contract with Alabama. I don't know the details of that yet. So he could be up there at this point.
Do you guys realize that Iowa is what Tennessee could have decided to be? Have you ever thought about that?
What, with Jeremy Pruitt?
No. Before that, Iowa's happy with Kirk Ferentz. He doesn't get them in trouble. He gets them to a bowl game. Maybe occasionally there are double-digit wins. He doesn't really go below 6, right? 6 or 7 wins ever.
He's got a floor.
Tennessee wanted to. You keep Philip Fulmer. That's why people say now in retrospect, that decade of dysfunction, they should have kept Fulmer. You keep Fulmer. I know this sounds out there. Okay. This is an alternate universe. This is like the Marvel thing. Okay. And you hire David Cutcliffe or Randy Sanders and you keep that path going. And instead, in my opinion, as much respect as I have for those coaches, especially David, that I think you would be dealing with bouncing at 9 wins, and you wouldn't have that load-up season like they have this year where they could win the national title. I think that would be the difference, the way Tennessee's football program would be viewed now as opposed to the way it's being viewed as it is with
Josh Georgia was with Mark Richt.
Perfect.
Yeah. And by the way,
which wasn't bad. I mean, that was a fun run. Those boosters went on a lot of fun trips, did they not?
Yes. Here's where it comes to it. By the way, because what do David Cutcliffe, Mark Richt, and Rick Barnes in college basketball have in common?
I don't know.
At their heart, they're coaches. Now, that's weird to say that that's a weakness for a football coach, but what I mean coaches is this. They don't want to scheme. They don't want to recruit. They want to develop players, don't they? They just like to. David Cutcliffe likes teaching players through the game of football, doesn't he? Isn't that what he loves more than anything else? He just likes teaching them football.
I always had a random feeling, and I've never covered him. No input. but that Sean McVay who won a Super Bowl with the Rams. I've always wondered if he was like that for some reason. He would just
That
like
he
to
just like teaching players.
yeah, he would just like to make a quarterback the best he possibly could at the end of the day. That if the money was the same for doing that as it was being the head coach of the Rams, if he would do that. I think David
I
Cutcliffe
could see that.
would. I think David Cutcliffe right now, if he had the energy, would tell the SEC, hey, I'm good. I want to go coach Arch Manning.
And if you had a son, you'd want him to play for David Cutcliffe, right?
Yes. And Steve Sarkisian would have to be drunk not to take him on his staff. Where should Heupel be paid? 4 downs brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas. Imagine having the best spas made right here in the United States of America in your backyard. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Their showroom is open in Athens, right off the interstate. You can stop by and check out the best hot tubs and spas in the market. And then delivery, yes, they can do that to Knoxville or Chattanooga. They've got complete support, spa cover, and chemicals to keep your spa bubbling at its best. They also have pool chemicals as well. Dynasty Pools and Spas, amazing discounts for first responders, military, and even some blemish models that can save you a ton, and no one will ever notice. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Go to dynastypoolsandspas.com or stop by that showroom in Athens. dynastypoolsandspas.com. Dynasty Pools and Spas.
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
All right. Where should Josh Heupel be ranked? Can't put him ahead of Kirby Smart, so he's at the very least second. Nick Saban's gone now, so he may hold on to second. But where would you put him among the highest paid college football coaches right now?
Well, you can't put him ahead of Ryan Day. I mean, not Ryan Day. You can't put him ahead of Dabo Swinney either.
Correct.
So that would be 3rd. I wouldn't put him ahead of Brian Kelly because Brian Kelly has just accomplished so much. You know, he got Notre Dame to a national title game, so that's down to 4th.
Correct.
On the list of, I mean, I know it's.
I would not put him in front of Sarkisian, even though I think he'll have a better career right now.
I would. I think Josh Heupel's 2022 was way more impressive than Sarkisian's 2023. I think that was the most. Texas got a win over an Alabama team that had no idea what it was doing, and that is the only thing Sarkisian is resting on right now. That's the whole part. His entire career is all about one lucky win he got over Alabama in September of last year. Okay.
Well, now that
was garbage.
I don't know that it was lucky. I mean, can we call games lucky just because they're close? I mean, I didn't feel like
I think that Alabama team was bad. They got great. They were bad in September.
Okay. So better timing. How about that? They
got
them.
Alabama in November.
They got them pre-Tennessee halftime. That was pretty much the goal, right? For any
exactly.
Alabama opponent, try to play them before halftime of the Tennessee game. That's your goal.
Before Nick Saban took over the offense and said, before Nick Saban said, I'm the captain now. Okay.
Run the ball, play defense, do all that stuff. No. Your goal is just to play Alabama before they get to halftime of that Tennessee game and they get everything figured out. Don Self, State Farm has it figured out. He's had it figured out for 40 years. They built their business and reputation on taking care of their customers and the greater Chattanooga area. 423-396-2126. DonSelf.net. DonSelf.net. 423-396-2126. DonSelf.net. So you would have him about 5th. I would have to go Brian Kelly. I would have to go Ryan Day. I would have to go Kirby Smart. I would have to go Dabo. I would go Sark. You and I are different from that, and that's kind of a coin flip in my head to be real.
I'm also different on Ryan Day. Homeboy inherited the most talented team in college football the last 2 years.
Okay, but still, he has accomplished something, so I would have him.
Yeah, losing to Michigan.
Yeah, and you don't have Michigan anymore to factor in Harbaugh's contract. So where would you have Josh Heupel if you had to factor them against the contracts that we just listed out? Portions of the program brought to you by the Hemp House, the premier hemp dispensary online with a wide variety, great selection, and strict standards to ensure you only receive the best in CBD or Delta products. Go to hemphousechat.com, hemphousechat.com, and use the promo code HOOK to get 10% off. So who would you have getting paid more than Josh Heupel?
I named them. That's it. It is Dabo Swinney, Kirby Smart, and Brian Kelly. I wouldn't put Ryan Day ahead of him. Ryan Day's the biggest underachiever in the history of the game right now. And so, I mean, it's embarrassing how badly he's
That
underachieving.
seems a little strong, isn't? I think there's some guy still running around in whiteouts in Penn State. That seems like a pretty big
No, that's not underachieving because what's an easier job, Dave? Ohio State or Penn State? It's not even close.
Listen, we know you're a big Brian Kelly and James Franklin guy. We understand that.
Wait, when did I say I'm a Brian Kelly and James Franklin guy? First of all, I'm just going to say this. Going 10-2 at Penn State, which is what James Franklin is doing, is the equivalent of winning national titles at Ohio State. Okay? Because the job
you've got to put James Franklin ahead of Josh Heupel. Did you all just catch that? Who's on the board?
No, James Franklin is hitting the floor.
Caleb just contradicted himself.
No, I didn't. James Franklin is doing what he's supposed to do at Penn State. Ryan Day is not doing what he's supposed to do at Ohio State. Josh Heupel is doing beyond what he was supposed to do at Tennessee because of the mess that he inherited. Now, I will change that if this is a bad year in 2024. But to this point, through 3 years, who would deny that Josh Heupel overachieved what was possible at Tennessee, Dave? Like if you had AI create just an average run-of-the-mill coach running Tennessee, they would have done significantly worse than what Josh Heupel's done. If you had an average run-of-the-mill coach take over at Ohio State after Urban Meyer, they would have had more success than Ryan Day had.